Hello everyone and welcome to another Marvel Crisis Protocol unboxing with the latest releases. The Winter Guard have finally come to the game. I say finally because they've clearly been delayed at some point because they have the old style profile cards. But we also have the Dark Elf Malekith, adversary of Thor and new Cabal leader in a nice, large, chunky box. Normally like going through these in order. This is CP93, 88 for Crimson Dynamo and Dark Star, 89 for Ursa Major and Red Guardian, but who can resist a large box? We are going to start today by taking a look at Malekith. So after briefly changing the lighting around a little bit to hopefully just make it easier to read the cards once we get in there, maybe makes the boxes a little bit shinier, apologies for that, but this is the Accursed Master riding a bat, dragon, tiger? I'm not sure. I've actually read the comic where he's riding that, or where this specific picture's from. It's the story that follows on from the God Butcher storyline with Gore. The tiger dragon thing, he's in it for like 2 pictures, and then Thor just one-shots it with his hammer. But anywho, we have a big old chunk of sprue, of course, for such a large mini. What base size? It's on the Hulk size base. Okay, that's what I thought. We've got our protective cardboard. Let's put that to one side for now. And he has a new colour of activation mark. We'll get to that in a second, but so that caught my eye. It's about time they added more colours. So we have our sprue, which again is hopefully both in focus and bright. Malekith's body itself is tiny, of course, but to put him on a large base, befitting of his character, I guess that's why they put him on the mount. And he's the whatchamacallit of the Hunt. The thing that's also in The Witcher, I'm blanking on the name. It probably says on the back of the box. Let's see, I know he's a sorcerer, but what else is he? He's Master of the Hunt? It's something like that. At a glance, I don't see it saying that. He is, though. That's why he controls beasts. But anyway, we have 2 giant wings that would not look amiss in 40k or Age of Sigmar. We have his scenic base, and those are bits of what he's standing on, as Guardian runes by the looks of it. Very detailed. Oh yeah, there's a shield there as well, and a sword. Very neat. And then finally, the body of his pet. I don't remember if it had a name. I don't think it did. Assembly of that, assembly of the base, looks super simple. Of course it is, because it's massive bits. His assembly, very small sections obviously, because he is a small gentleman, but not too bad. 2 halves of the torso, then the limbs. Yeah, I would say that looks, with or without instructions, that doesn't look bad. And speaking of which, without. Now I don't think these are out in America yet. So you know what? Let's do the old quick scan and see if he's there. I bet he isn't. Let's see here. Or if the Winter Guard are there, actually. Might as well check for them because it's the same page regardless of whose QR code you scan. At a glance, scrolling down. Nope, not available yet. So it's just as well, let's see, right at the bottom. It'd help if these were in release order, but they're not. So no, at time of recording it doesn't seem, no, they're not. None of these are. So let's hope that they're all easy builds. Alright, I'll get this open, we can take a look at his card. Alright, so yeah, we've got new activated colours, purple and cyan, kinda, as well as 2 markers, which is him riding his mount, standing on a bus. Yes, standing on a bus. He is crushing a bus. Now, is that because he comes with a mission? No, must be to do with one of his attacks. The only thing I remember about this guy specifically is that he's a very odd 7 threat, the first 7 threat character of the game. But first of all, here we have Midnight Phantasmagoria, which is a fun word. Unaffiliated, active, Malekith can spend 3 to play this card, push all enemy characters within 3 of him away small, remove 1 damage for each character pushed this way. So that's a means by which to heal. Oh, that's cool art. Oh, it's him on the bus. So that's what this will be connected to then. Oh, that's right, because this is his version of the teleport. The Black Bifrost. There's Enchantress on the picture as well. So this is Cabal specific, reactive. Malekith also can pay 3 to cast this one as well. Place a Black Bifrost token within 1 of him, then place the other within 5. Once per turn during a character's activation, if they're within 1 of the tokens, take 1 damage, to be placed within 1. So we don't have to pay power then. Ah, but they take damage. So that's why you have those markers. It's his version of kind of like the Doctor Strange Wong teleport, etc. Now hopefully with not too much reflected light. That doesn't seem too bad. If I come this way maybe. It's very awkward with this new lighting. Hopefully that's good enough for you to pause if you want to read it yourself. But he's 444 defense, 10 health, 7 threat, size 4, medium move. And he runs the gamut of attack types. Blade of Midnight is energy, Blood Boil is mystic, and the fantastically named Butcher of Thors is a physical. That's up there with Incantation of Obliteration for just fun attack names. So his Blade of Midnight gains power for damage dealt, range 2, 7 dice with a pierce on wilds. Blood Boil is a beam 4, 5 dice mystic, gains 1 for each person hit, and does poison on wilds. Butcher of Thors, 4 power, 10 dice, range 3, that's very scary. He gets placed within 1 after doing it, and Dark Curse on a wild. After his attack is resolved, for each wild in the attack roll, the defending character gains 1 of the following special conditions: bleed, shock, slow, stun. Okay, so I think I mentioned already, but he is a Cabal leader, which I know it might confuse people because he's mostly against Thor, but they're not going to make a Dark Elves faction, and Cabal is kind of like their catch-all for just generic villains. So he's a Dark Council leader of the Cabal. When this character or an allied character dazes or KOs an enemy character, choose another non-dazed allied character. They can remove 1 damage, gain 1 power, and advance small. So it's the same as Sam Wilson's affiliation bonus for his Avengers, but it's not when an ally gets KO'd or dazed, it's when an enemy is. So it encourages aggression, which is nice and fits the Cabal. Frosty is his version of a charge for 2. Cloak of Shadows. After this character rolls attack, defense, or dodge, but before the resolve critical step, which is the important part, it can spend any amount of power. For each 1 power spent, change a skull to a crit, and you can then get the extra dice, because it's resolved before the critical step, which is very, very good. Oh yeah, sorry, he can fly, and he's immune to hex and stun as well. He's a powerful magician, so I guess that makes sense for the hex. Conqueror of the 10 Realms. During the power phase, this character gains 1 additional power. Additionally, characters cannot modify their attack dice when targeting this character with attacks. He's real good. Is a 7 threat good? I don't know. No, hang on. Which way do you turn these again? I think it's this way. Yeah, okay, I remembered. He goes down to 8 health. In total he has 18. And they're kind of like moving away from character cards other than basic stats changing on flip sides. I don't think any of these have any differences on their flip side, but regardless, they just show off the art if nothing else. There he is. So it's an interesting addition. His Cabal leadership is real good, especially if you're focusing on the kill. Like, it gives you an excuse to go aggressive. You can use those free moves to reposition as necessary for objectives afterwards. You can't lose on objectives if there's no one left on the enemy side to claim them. It is interesting they made him 7. Like, he's not weak enough for a 6. He's not powerful enough for an 8. They opted for a 7. I'm curious how much thought went into that regarding like Cabal picks. But either way, Malekith. Large thanks to his mount. The man himself. Just a tiny black and blue dark elf riding him right there. But he's got the stats to back it up, I think. He seems very threatening. Like, very threatening. But we'll move on from Malekith now to the Winter Guard. So a bit of a unfortunately timed addition to the game, but obviously AMG couldn't have known, and they work like a year in advance. And I think I mentioned these were delayed because I remember from the previews they have the old style stat cards. So I don't know why they were delayed, but either way we'll go in order with these. So that means we're looking at Crimson Dynamo, who is basically Russian Iron Man, and Darkstar, who I don't really know anything about, apologies. So we'll open up their box. We of course will have no assembly instructions, and they are not at time of recording available digitally because they're not out in America yet, which is fair apparently. Let's take a look at the sprue. So Crimson Dynamo is the one on the larger base. He is chunky, and this will be Darkstar's sprue right here. Does not look complicated at all, thankfully. Basically identical to Malekith, and the standard for all the good characters to assemble for this game. 2 halves of a torso, bung the limbs in, maybe attach a weird looking thing, and then you're done. And that's it. Crimson Dynamo shouldn't be hard, right? It looks like his wrists are separate. Oh no, only one of his wrists is. That's interesting. The one that's shooting the hand. Random aside for the pose that Crimson Domino is in. Dynamo, sorry, not Domino. Night Models had a failed Marvel miniature game in like 2015-16. This pose he's in is literally identical to the Iron Man miniature that was released for that game. And I painted that Iron Man, so if you go way back to the start of this series, sorry, not this series, of the Getting Stuff Painted series, you will see the Iron Man painted that is in exactly that pose. Anyway, I'll get their cards out. So let's see what goodies we have here. I will say in general, the Winter Guard, whose affiliation card is right here and a little lacking at present, a little small. But either way, they are all what I would describe as really basic, but that is not an insult. They seem like a super good faction for beginners because there's not any complicated stuff to track. But we can see more about that when we look at them. So we also have 3 tactics cards. Winter Rush, which I think is their version of like Wakanda Forever and whatever the Midnight Suns one is called again. I'm blanking on it. During the power phase, any number of Winter Guard can spend any number of power to play this card. If 6 or more was spent, each time an allied character is damaged by an enemy effect this round, after the effect is resolved, another allied Winter Guard character can advance small. So no, never mind, not the same. Gives them a lot of movement options. Any amount of power as long as they get to 6. Fusion Caster. I'm going to give you one guess what this is, based on the picture. It's a cool picture. So it gives Crimson Dynamo access to the attack, listed above. Costs him 3 power, beam 3, 7 dice. When rolling crits, you roll 2 additional dice, but for each crit you suffer 1. So it's very similar to that War Machine big attack. I'm blanking on what it's called offhand. Dark Aura Manifestation. Oh, very neat. Unaffiliated reactive. During the power phase, Dark Star can spend 1. I keep wanting to say Deck Star. This round, other characters within 3 of Dark Star roll 1 pure defense dice when defending against energy attacks. Potentially very potent depending on how many of these characters have energy attacks. It might just be these 2 though. I guess you could bring someone else along, of course. But that would really benefit if you bring someone who's just dealing energy attacks. So Crimson Dynamo, let's look at him first because he is the affiliation leader of the Winter Guard, and oh man, I miss the old style cards. I love how they look so much more than the new style. 6 health, small move, size 3, 4 threat, 4/3/4 defense. He's got an electrical blast to beam 4 or 5 dice as his basic attack for free, does shock on a wild. Then he has homing rockets, range 5, only 5 dice for 2 power, explosive on a wild to hurt anyone within 2, doesn't need line of sight, etc. But he has that tactics card, of course, to give him a very big attack. But the important part, the affiliation bonus. At the start of an allied character's activation, it can remove 1 special condition, no cost, can just do it. And when an allied character is contesting a secure objective and would be pushed, it may roll a die, and if it gets a wild or a crit or a shield, it is not pushed. Only on a push though. Throws would still work, and mind control stuff would still work. He can overcharge his capacitors to immediately, as an action, gain 2 power. He can be placed within 2 of his current position for 2. Disruption field for 2 power as well. He's got a lot of 2 costs, in fact that's all he has. Even his attack is. When this character or another allied character is targeted by an enemy attack, and the enemy is within 3, he can take, reroll up to 2 of the attacker's dice. So not his defense dice, he can reroll the attack dice. He can fly, and he reduces damage suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1 thanks to his what does that say? Carborundum Matrix Alloy. Okay, that's probably a word. And then on his flip side, he goes to, no, he stays at 6 health, so 12 in total. And I believe nothing changes, but by all means you can pause and read it and check for yourself. Let's switch over to Dark Star. She's only a 3 threat, there isn't much to her. 5 health, medium move, size 2. 3/3/4 defense. Her basic attack is energy, range 4 or 5 dice, only gives her 1 power though. and she gets to reroll all of her attack dice, so it's similar to the Captain Marvel attack. Rending Force, range 2, 7 dice for 3 power. You can choose if it's energy or physical, and it does bleed. Dimensional Portal for 3. Choose this character or another ally character within 3 and place it within 3 of its current position. You can only do that once per turn. And then the Dark Force Barrier, also for 3, which is a bit rough because she only gains 1 for doing her attack. When this character or an allied character within 3 is targeted by physical or energy attack, this character can use a superpower to add 2 to the defense roll. This character or the allied character cannot be advanced, pushed, or placed. So extra defense dice and anti-move technology. They're very much about getting kind of rooted in and being annoying and removing status conditions. 5 health, stays at 5 health, and as I say, I'm pretty sure nothing has changed on this side. So let's move over to the other 2 of the Winter Guard. Well, if you ever wanted a bear as part of your Crisis team, you now have that option. Did I show off the back of the box of their box? If I didn't, apologies. There it is, real quick if you want to read their lore. But Ursa Major and the Red Guardian, not the same Red Guardian that was in the Black Widow movie. Apparently there's been like at least 6 people who have been a Red Guardian. This is one that actually has a mutant superpower. So we have that, we have Waste of Time, yep, and then we have Sprue. So I think the bear is on the medium-sized base. Yeah, it is. So same bases as Per. So this will be the Red Guardian, fairly standard Sprue type. Don't see anything wrong with him at all. Again, 2 bits of chest, the head's separate this time. Then you bung the limbs in. The bear. This is what I was interested in. How much is his fur actually textured on the sprue? Oh, quite a bit actually. Okay, yeah, there's actually like detail that would hopefully get picked up by a dry brush because I was worried about that. His paws are separate. I love that. His paws are separate. Okay. Beyond that, forearms to the rest of his arms, his shoulder, looks like thighs, and then obviously again his paws last. Oh, you could use those on other characters if you wanted. And his head's in 2 halves. Yeah. Seems super straightforward though. I can't imagine needing assembly instructions for him. Alright, I'll get the cards out. So we have 3 tactics cards. Sovereign Strike. I thought Red Guardian was like yawning or popping a pill there. So this looks like he's calling in an airstrike. Any Winter Guard character can spend 3 for though. Choose an interactive terrain feature. 4 or less within 4. All characters within 1 of the terrain suffer 2 damage and then it's removed. So it's kind of similar to the Punishers. Blow up a bit of terrain, etc. Comrade's Keeper. I have no idea who that other character is in the picture. I apologise. We're getting into the parts of comics I'm not familiar with. Unaffiliated Reactive. When an enemy character targets an ally character within 3 of Red Guardian, he can spend 2. Place him within 2. Oh, it's his version of Heroes for Hire. That's what this is. If Red Guardian suffers damage from the attack and is not dazed, the attack is resolved. Throw the attacking character away from Red Guardian small. That's pretty neat. Yeah, so it's basically his version of Heroes for Hire. Cool art. Speaking of cool art, Bear Hug. The Ursa Major just is really happy to see the Winter Soldier. So he's just giving him a big old hug. Everything is fine. Definitely no one dying here. Unaffiliated Reactive. When an enemy character declares a move action within 1 of an allied Ursa Major, he can play this card rather, it's not even got a cost. The enemy character must or may spend 3 power. If they do not, they can only move small when resolving this move action. So it's a way to lock someone down at the cost of 3 power to move normally. It's only going to matter a lot if you're slowing down a long move, I guess. But yeah, it seems okay. Alright. And onto their cards. Red Guardian is 3 threat, Ursa Major is 4. I think to use all of them just puts you at what, 14 threat? 14, 15 threat? So it leaves you open to bring other people, like the Winter Soldier, so Ursa Major can hug them. 5 health, medium move, 3, 3, 4. Basic, as can basic B for his normal strike, with a push. A push of size 3 or less afterwards. He's got this Captain America shield throw, exactly the same, with the 1 generation of power. And Siberian Shield Slam is literally the same as Captain America's Shield Slam. Size 3 or less is thrown small. So he's, again, this is like as basic can be. Force Repulsion Field on 2. When this character is targeted by physical or energy attack, he can spend for the superpower. He adds blanks to his total successes. So instead of adding 2 dice to his defense, he gives himself, I can do this all day. And Red Guardian Suit. When this character is damaged by an enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, if he's not dazed, he gains extra power. 1 power. Which again is easy enough to remember. 5 health, goes up to 6 on his flip side, but I don't believe anything else changes. On that note, we have a bear. His powers involve being a bear and mauling people because he is a bear, and if you're really unlucky, he'll maul you again while attacking you with bear puns. On that note, 7 health, short move, 3/3/4 defense for Ursa Major, Mikhail Ursus, barehanded slap, I hate puns, with a bleed on a wild is his basic attack, bear armed brawler, so it is very shiny, there we are, bear armed brawler for his 3 power spend, range 2, 7 dice physical, size 4 or less are thrown away from him small before damage, and after the attack is resolved they gain stagger, so he's just a straight up brawler. He's got the bog standard charge for 2 power, Ursine Temper, Ursine, might be pronouncing that wrong, choose an interactive terrain feature, size 3 or less within 2 and throw it medium for 3 power, and finally he is aggressive, which is the crossbones thing. After an attack targeting this character is resolved, if he suffered damage, he can advance small towards them. So he's pretty tanky, especially for only a 4 threat. He goes from 7 health to 7 health, so 14 in total, and nothing changes on his flip side except the art, I guess. He's literally just a bear. He's just a bear that you throw at your enemy, hope that they're not strong against physical attacks, and he just mauls them for you. I can see him being very handy just to also get that guaranteed stagger, because it doesn't need to do damage, it just needs to be resolved. So a 3 power stagger is probably his strongest asset, I would say, and he has a 5 dice free attack to build up that power as well, and putting out bleed isn't bad either, but he is just a bear. So what else can you say? So that is a lot of new additions to Crisis Protocol, and Atomic Mass Games aren't really slowing down as we're near the tail end of the year, because next month we have the World War II era Captain America and Hydra affiliation stuff coming. The new Red Skull is going to be a little bit behind, but like Baron Strucker and Armin Zola, the new Captain America based on that era, the Nick Fury Sr. and the original Human Torch. I knew I was forgetting someone. So we've got a lot of war era stuff coming, but in the meantime we have these, and I do think Malekith is going to be a very interesting addition to the Cabal. The Winter Guard, as I said at the top, they seem very basic, a very good introductory faction affiliation, and if you just want to throw like knockoff Iron Man and a bear at someone and see what happens, they're the affiliation for you. Kind of looking forward to using them, honestly, because some of the new releases are getting so complicated. There's so much stuff to keep track of, especially if you mix and match characters with gimmicks. This isn't a gimmick. Their gimmick is they've got a bear. You throw the bear at the team while everyone else helps out the bear. That's all there is to it. Malekith, I guess, could get complicated. I don't know. He seemed basic but powerful to me. But anyway, I sincerely hope you enjoyed watching this unboxing. We'll try and get them to the tabletop nice and quick. In the meantime, you can go check out the existing battle reports if you want. Thank you very much for watching, though, if you made it this far through. And enjoy your gaming. Until next time, ta-ta for now.